Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Okay, let's wait for a few minutes, then we'll start with our work. So today we will movie we already started. And I have the movie we have created and placed it here already. It's ready. Then yesterday I was exporting the low poly version, so UV updated one to ZBrush. So I transferred it because it took me around 30 minutes. So I just imported and it showed me this thing. It will project all the details from hyper to low poly, some vertex change or something. So I just exported it and I just let it do its job. So after 30 minutes, it projected everything. So I have all the subdivision and all polypaint, all details, everything intact, nothing changed, no issues at all. So, the purpose of this process, we UV it and then bring it back to ZBrush once again. The main reason for this is we can make this base texture based on our UV, what we did in Maya, plus we can make normal map and we can make displacement map as well from ZBrush directly, like without even going to Maya. Like I'll show the baking process in Maya also. Substance you guys already know. Maya process I'll show and you can do it in ZBrush also. And ZBrush displacement baking is like a really good quality displacement and it takes really less time as compared to Maya. Maya takes a huge amount of time. So okay. So I just imported it back. Lowest subdivision, subdivision level one, subdivision level one, and then I have all the UVs here already. UV came. So now I need to export all my displacement map and my this thing, color map. And if I want, I can export cavity, ambient occlusion, and I can texture it in Photoshop or directly you can texture it here also. But I'll prefer Substance to do that. So let's export. So for exporting, there is a under Z plug, there is an option called multi-map exporter. Like you can convert one map at a time by going here, polypins and create polypins from polygroups or like create or colorize. You can, oh sorry, not this one. Texture, create from polypin. You can create from this also, displacement map also you can create with the, but this is works on one part at a time. But I want to do it in batch. So entire body should export everything, all maps, all textures, all displacement maps together. So I can save a lot of time. So multi-map exporter, click by default, this one is off. Okay, so by default, whenever you open it, your displacement and texture from polypaint is on by default. If you don't want to export your texture, you can switch it off. If you want to export normal, you can switch it on, or you can switch it off if you want to export ambient occlusion, cavity, and export mesh also. If you want, you can export it, like export mesh. So what whatever the last final low poly, you can export it, but it's not required because we have exported it from Maya only, so it's not required. Map size, I can define 2K, 4K, 1K, or I can move it to 8K option is not here, but you can move, drag, and change it to 8K also. Like 4K is good enough. Then you have all these options. Displacement, vector displacement is entirely different. So we're not using vector displacement, we're using normal displacement, normal map, and section from polygon. Then you go to export options. Here you can see we have few options. By default, the smooth UV switch off. People are still joining. Okay. By default, this intensity is 0. Smooth UV is switched off. So make sure switch on smooth UV. Subdivision level, like from which subdivision level you want to bake, like on which subdivision level you want to transfer your all the maps. Like level one is by base model, so level one is by base model. So I'm using level one as my subdivision level. If you want to use level two or level three, you can use that as well. So level one is good enough because I have already deleted level one and two in my previous model. So now I have it quite a dense low poly. And if I want, I can switch on C channel. C channel, this thing basically works very beautifully with Mari. So we're not using Mari, so I'm not switching it on. Scale is by default 1. Intensity by default is 0. So this is something, if you click on get scale, you get this intensity scale automatically. So it will generate. So smooth UV, basically when you turbo smooth your model, so UV also becomes smooth, right? So just for that, make sure switch on UV smooth. And adaptive is there is not much difference in quality, but if you switch on adaptive, it increases the time of baking like by 10 times, 20 times. So personally, I don't prefer it, and there is not much difference. Like it's not noticeable. It's not even noticeable difference. So there's no point. I don't think like until unless you have really close up shot or you have really high detail something, then you can use it. Otherwise, use this. Like that's what I see. Then you have estimate time if you want. You can do it, reset, switch material, all this thing, and file name. So how to name it? You can see when you click this. Right now, I'm using PSD. Reason there is a reason why I am using PSD because if you're using PSD, 90% time it gives you everything correct without any error. But if you're not using PSD, you are using TIFF or JPEG or something. I have faced issues like while baking after 2-3 maps generation, it gives you some error, some error or crash or hang or all those kind of error I have faced. And if you use PSD, I never faced any problem ever. That's a personal thing. You can test out maybe it's just my system or my system setting or something that is possible. But I prefer to use PSD. Then if I want, I can overwrite existing file. Naming convention, you can see displacement map is suffix is a DM, VD, NM, all these options. So you can identify your map very easily with this. And UV tile format is UDIM. This is if you click on this, you can change it. So I'm using UDIM and then click OK. If you want to change any name, you can modify that the displacement map to something. You can modify those things definitely. So once you're done with this, there's the option create all maps. Just click on this. It will ask for a path. So I have already exported all the maps. I'll show you like how it works. I'll create one more folder, empty folder, new folder, empty, empty folder, and just click save. And I'll open that folder for you so that you can see what is happening. Here, it's empty, and you can see it's subdividing, doing few things. So don't need to worry. Like go to check the ZBrush. Just check this folder. It will start exporting your map. You see, this is a displacement. DM is displacement map. And you can see this is a normal map. So this normal is technically useless because ZBrush normal doesn't work with any other software. So it's kind of useless. So I would prefer. I usually prefer it to bake it in Substance or like whichever software I'm using, Maya Max, in that software only. Just click that and wait for like 10 minutes. It will bake all the maps automatically. You don't have to do anything. You see, these kind of normals are not at all good. These are not good maps, and these are not usable. You cannot use it because it will create like a strange shading in Maya while rendering. Because Maya XYZ works differently and ZBrush XYZ works differently. That's why it will create a shading. I can use this normal for substance detail. So for that, I have to use that subdivision level 5 or 4. So it will generate only and only the substance detail, no volume. Right now, it's generating volume as well. That's why all this uneven shading and everything you can see. So like this, it will generate everything. So just otherwise, it will take like 15 minutes. I'm sorry. I have this like really severe cold. Okay, cancel. About it. Yeah. So to see, I have already removed any of this. So I have already exported. You can see all the maps. This is not required. So this basic map, basic textures, and these are my displacement maps. If I want, I can directly apply this into Maya and start rendering. I can test out my render, start testing my render. And if I want, I can texture it in ZBrush itself very quickly. Or now I have to bake my normal maps. So for that, what I have to do is I need this body. Go to highest division. Projecting around I mean, okay, if you're getting artifacts near to I, that means your mesh or vertex or something must have moved or something slightly changed. So it creates some uneven, unwanted shading or artifacts, right? In model, I believe you were talking about model, not baking. Let's say yes, no. We're talking about like when you are projecting high detail, high poly detail to a low poly UV model. That time you're getting some kind of artifact, right? Okay. So in that case, what you have to do is go to your division one, fix that area slightly after yes after UV. Yes. Fix that area, give a little bit smooth or something, then move it up one, and then again fix it. This is how it works. Like you cannot manually automatically fix it. What one more thing you can try. This is there's no guarantee it will work, but there's a possibility it might work or not. So what you can do under project while projecting on your highest subdivision level, increase this projection distance to by default it's 0.05, increase it to 0.1, and then try projecting it. So most probably that will fix it because distance is really low. So that's why it's not changing the shape. So try this thing out or manually have to smooth that section. There's no other way. That is something we also face. I have faced a lot of time. It happens. So that particular area you have to fix manually or try projection one more time. Now you have this. Now I'm going to decimate this model because I have to bake all the details. So let's go to decimation master. Process current. It takes a little bit time, and in the meanwhile, I'll show you like what I did in Maya because this thing is like processing. It will take a little bit time because it's around 30 million. It will take a little bit time. By the time I'll show you like what I did here is this body, and you can see I have like placed everything like this. If I want, I can like move them. I can do that, but not necessarily. You have to do it. Keep it like this. It will work perfectly. Only thing you have to do is select each and every UV, this tile in space mode, and apply a material. That is something you have to do. Select one part at a time, right click, assign new material. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So there are 16 maps on this body. This is how production works. There are no limit for this thing map, because they want only and only quality. It should be perfect, and there shouldn't be any error, any issue, because there's no limit of UVs, no limit of your texture map, no limit for your subdivision level. So make sure use it wisely. So I have already applied multiple material. You can see body blend 17, 1, 3, 4. There's so many blends for everything. For this denture, I have used separate material. Eyes, I have used separate. These two are like same material, sharing same material. Nails, I have used separate material. This leather fabric. For this, I just automatically unwrap it. I haven't done the proper movie for this yet. So I just unwrapped it and applied a separate material. Best thing will be if you can name it right away. If you name it right away, it will help you in future, and your entire like everything will become very easy to control. So naming is very important. If you put this model into substance, it will automatically read the file name and show you, if you identify those parts very easily. So these many numbers of uh, materials you have to apply it. And for lens is a separate material, body multiple materials, nails like separate material, denture separate material. Like this, I have applied all the separate materials. Then I have selected this model, exported it, and can import this into Substance. So it's still computing. This normal is required for this thing. What do you call it? Substance, not for your like Maya render, because you have to texture it and add all the details. That's why you need all this thing. So easiest way, you can just simply bake all the cavity and other stuff from here directly, and then in Substance just add color, because we are going to use displacement map. So normal doesn't play a very important role there, because normal won't be visible. Like 90% times it won't be visible anywhere, because whenever you use displacement map, it basically generates that shape, that model, that mesh there. So normal don't have any role to play there basically. Like normal usually gives you the illusion of high detail, right? But in displacement, it generates the high detail mesh itself. So there is normal usually not required. Okay, it takes a lot of time. Okay, taking a lot of time. Okay, let's try if I can see if I can export this. I don't know like if my system can handle this or not. I will just simply exporting the entire mesh without subdividing, because subdivision taking a lot time. Okay. Material attribute, this is 11. Name it head. You can like name it like this very easily. So you have a material name head. You can identify it very easily. Go here, color. So for this, I don't need to use Blend, Lambert, Font. I need to use an AI standard surface shader. Click on this AI standard surface. The moment you click it, it will change the name. It will remove the name. You see clear difference head. So you can select this thing name it properly. And now weight is basically the weight of the diffuse map, your color map. The color I have already baked because I have to finalize it in Substance. I'm just showing you how it looks in Maya. I can apply PhDs directly, or I have installed this thing, Stage Thumb. So I can just simply convert them directly into JPEG, BMP, or PNG, all those things. I can, if I want, I can apply PhDs also, but PhD is pretty heavy, so just simply